Good evening, boils and ghouls, and everyone creepy in between. This is another episode of the Average Ghost Mom podcast. Wah, 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 wah. Oh my gosh. I was reflecting back on this super crazy weekend I just had and thinking about a couple other things and chit-chatting with friends, and I was like, ugh, you know what? Boom, there it is, episode. Let's go record. So I am kind of pumped. I'm pumped for the wrong reasons, I feel like, though. Well, I don't know. This is a blog cast, after all. So is there really any bad reason to come and share about my weekend? My weekend is going to be the highlight of this. I'm not even kidding. This basically is just about the weekend I just had. Because this weekend was off the wall crazy. So I think maybe I should talk about what I was talking about with my friend first and then get on to the crazy crazy. So girl, he Snapchatted me and he said, ugh, I hate having to make a grocery list. I hate having to grocery shop and I hate having to cook. Like I just want somebody else to take care of this. And it's like, girl, I get you. I get you. Like there are some weeks when I just want to order DoorDash every single day and not have to worry about it. But I do find some really good recipes that I'm very interested in trying and stuff. Um so I do like to cook, and I have more cooking creative freedom here in my opinion. So I do all the cooking and no matter what, he eats it, whether he loves it, likes it, hates it, which I haven't made anything yet that he hates. Well, there was just some hiccups because like I didn't know he doesn't like lasagna, therefore he doesn't like ravioli. And I made a ravioli dish and he was like, no, it's the noodles." And I'm like, "That's fine. My bad. Let's scrap that." And then there was one time I tried this soup and it just did not turn out and we're like, "Oh, yeah, let's go get some Subway." That was a flop. But other than those two things, really, I mean, I've not made anything that's not good enough, you know? Ooh, tonight, y'all, I found this, it's basically like a chicken tortilla soup or a Mexican chicken soup. Um, and I was like, "Oh my god, like I don't want to have to take the time after work to like sit over a stove and make this soup and yada yada. Let me just throw everything in a crock pot and just like let it cook all day. Like, might as well." So, mind you, I don't have a normal sized crock pot. I have two mini crock pots. Um, which is fine because it works great for when it's just the two of us. Um, and usually if I purposefully cook a crock pot meal, it's on a Friday, so Ava's not home. Usually she like after school she goes with her dad, so she doesn't really eat dinner with us on Fridays anyway. So like the mini crock pot makes the perfect amount for two people with no leftovers, basically. And I have found that we're not really leftover people, so I try to make like the exact amount of food that we need. And but anyway, I cooked up, I split one chicken breast, pounded it out in half, cooked it real quick. Did almost like a par cook, but it was cooked all the way through, but just barely. Cut that up into super small bite-sized pizzas, threw that in the crock pot, and then I did an eyeball amount of heavy whipping cream because I knew I wanted this soup to be super creamy. And then I did like a half can of corn, a half can of black beans, a half can of pinto beans. There was supposed to be diced tomatoes in it, and I totally forgot. But in the end, it was pretty good. It didn't need it. It wasn't lacking without it. But then I seasoned with salt, pepper. Oh, there was supposed to be an onion in there, and I totally did not get the onion when I went grocery shopping. It just was not on the list. but I did salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, chili powder, cumin powder, and then I did chicken bouillon powder instead of chicken stock because I didn't want the cream to be thinned out, but I didn't want it to be super soupy and brothy either. I did add probably a cup of water just to get it, which I could have done chicken bouillon, but I feel like doing the water because I did the sprinkle chicken bouillon was well, chicken broth. I could have done chicken broth instead of a cup of water, but I think what I did was fine. I think it did perfectly. Did that, stirred it all up, let it sit on high for like 4, 5 hours, and then I air fried some mini tacos, some frozen mini tacos to go with it, cause he likes grilled cheese in soup, and I'm like, "But a grilled cheese just isn't gonna hit with this, like, I've got mini tacos, I feel like that's a better pairing." So as the mini tacos were cooking, I put in about half tub of sour cream, I shredded a whole bunch of cheese, put some more seasoning in there, stirred it all up, and then let about 15 minutes for the mini tacos to cook. And then when it was done, served it up, and oh lord. That was the flavor profile I was looking for, and I hit it exactly bullseye. It was amazing. It was great. 10 out of 10. Will probably make again. Anyway, back to grocery shopping. Um, as somebody with ADHD, yes, I have ADHD, and yes, got a little bit of tism in me. Got a little bit of tism. It shows up in random places. Um, so I've got ADHD, autistic ADHD. Okay. Um, I use an app, my favorite app, and it's free. And the good parts about the app are free as well. You don't have to purchase a subscription, but it's called AnyList. Um, it's on Android and it's on iPhone, so anyone can get it. Download it free, use it for the basic stuff. Um, what it is, it's an app, obviously, and it's good for making lists. Best for grocery lists, but like we have like a dates night list and um things to get for the new house list, basically anything that you need like a pretty good extensive list for. In my opinion, I would use this over like your notes app or something because you can break it down into categories. Um, and I think that's all you can do when you get the basic is just like put the item under a category in a list. I do have an annual subscription, and for a single, I think it's like $10. It's like 10 or $15 for me for the whole year, and then it's like 15 or $20 for family. So then you can like add other people. But when you get the subscription, you can add prices to the items. So like especially when it's a reoccurring item, your like pre-saved criteria, you can click it and it'll show up. You can put the price, you can put the store it's from, you can put the category, which for me is like I have like bakery, deli, produce, Mexican aisle, chips and snacks, like how Walmart labels their aisles, those would be like the categories. You can put the quantity, which I think you can do the quantity on the basic as well. I don't know, don't quote me. You can put the package size, like if you're looking for like a 15-ounce can of beans compared to like no, when you want to look for the 32-ounce of chicken stock instead of the 64-ounce of chicken stock, you know? You put the price, put the store, and then it has a barcode. I haven't used it. I don't really need to use it. Um, you can also put a picture with it. So, like, potentially, this is really good for if you are the main grocery shopper and you need to send your spouse out to get something, and they're like, "Oh, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it looks like." Like, you can break it down, babe. You're gonna go to the deli and you're gonna get this cheese. And I took a picture of the cheese so you can match the picture. Make sure it's provolone. Make sure it's got the green label on it. It's gonna have a white cow on the front. Or like if you want like low-fat sour cream compared to regular sour cream. The low-fat sour cream is a light blue, and the regular is a dark blue. You can put a picture there and be like, "This is what you're looking for, okay? This thing. Make sure it matches this thing, okay?" It's fantastic. And then you can put a little note, because I know sometimes it's like you get the pulled pork, but you don't know what I don't know what the on brand is for their pulled pork, like their barbecued microwave meats. So I put like pulled pork, purple packaging, you know, because I know they got pulled pork, barbecue pulled pork, they got barbecue pulled chicken, they've got barbecue sliced brisket. I think they got like barbecue burnt ends. And it's easier for me when I'm looking purple packaging. Boom. That's barbecue pulled pork. That's what we like. So, um, or like a brand, if there's like a specific brand that you want to get, yeah, it's nice. But that's what I use. Um, and when you get the upgrade, when you get a subscription and you can put the prices, it it totals up your price at the bottom so you know how much you're fixing to spend. And when I put a price in on a product, I always round up to the nearest dollar just to kind of help account for tax. And then as you cross things off your list, like when you tap and it crosses off, it tallies up how much money you've crossed off. So again, there's different filtering options and stuff. You can filter by store. 'Cause, like, I go to Aldi for most of my shopping, but Aldi doesn't have everything, so I gotta run to Walmart sometimes, and then if it's the beginning of the month, I run up to Hollywood Feed for the pets, and so it's nice when you have this big, huge list, but you're like, "Okay, I'm at Aldi. Let me just see what I'm getting from Aldi." You can filter it. Boom. Here's all the things you're getting from Aldi today, sweetie. It's so easy. It's so nice. Um It also holds recipes, so you can upload recipes. You can upload recipes from the internet super duper easy. When you have the app, if you're on a web browser looking at a recipe, act like you're gonna send it to somebody, like the link, and if you scroll a little bit, it'll have import to AnyList, and then it boom, imports it to AnyList. It's for the most part foolproof, but sometimes when it puts the ingredients, like the website will have like notes about the ingredients, and then it puts that note in like the actual title of the ingredient. So you might need to go back and kind of just like edit that part, but for the most part, everything else about it, picture, name, steps, ingredients, website, serving size, you know, it's fantastic. And you can sort all of your recipes into what are called collections. Um, and I'll get into that when I talk about meal planning. Um, oh, actually, just kidding. That's the next thing. You can meal plan. The next tab over is a calendar, and it can help you meal plan. You can assign recipes, or you can make a note and just say, "Oh, we're just having like breakfast." Like, there's no need to put a recipe for breakfast. Like, breakfast is like whatever the hell you want: pancakes, waffles, eggs, bacon, sausage, hash browns, whatever. But, like, let me see. Okay, so a few Mondays ago, so what I do is this is how I meal plan. All right, now we're moving on. Next section, how I meal plan. And this is the easiest way for me. Now, granted, I don't have a picky eater. That's debatable because I have Ava, but she's a child. So I don't have a picky eater. And he he does not care what he eats as long as it's food and sustainability energy for him and it tastes good. That's it. He don't care what he eats. So this is what I do. This is how I've got my meal plan set up for regular times, cuz a few episodes ago I know that I said that I'm doing like a diet for the summer. What is it? What is it? What is it? Not Alzheimer's. My sister got me stuck on Alzheimer's. Now that word is in my brain and I can't get it out. Anti-inflammatory diet. There we go. I'm sure somebody was yelling out loud. I'm doing an anti-inflammatory diet, you know? So, I'm not concerned about that for this. I'm concerned about what I normally do. So, this is how I break it down. And there's many, 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 many ways to meal plan. It depends on how many people's in your family, it depends on what your budget is, it depends on how often you're grocery shopping, it depends on any dietary specialties, you know? So, my way is not the only way. I said it once, I'll say it again, girl. Pinterest. Okay? Pinterest is amazing. It is it is my favorite place to go when I have an idea and I need an answer. If I have a creative question and I need a creative answer, Pinterest is my go-to. So, here is how I meal plan and what I do during the normal school year, as we'll call it. I do quote unquote American Mondays, Taco Tuesdays, Italian Wednesdays, Asian Thursdays, Fun Fridays, and I don't cook on the weekends. Weekends is usually when we reserve for date nights because Ava's with her dad, so it's a lot easier. We haven't worked the whole day and we're dog tired afterwards, you know? It's for going out with friends. It's eating leftovers if there's any that we want. It's girl dinners, cereal and cheese kind of stuff. Um, Usually when I go grocery shopping, I'll bring home like a super early lunch. When I used to go later in the morning, I'd bring home a Caesar's pizza. But lately, I've been swinging by like Whataburger, Slim Chicken, Five Guys when they open up right at like 10:30 or 11, depending. Girl, sometimes I go grocery shopping because I like to go grocery shopping on Sunday mornings while everyone is at church. Okay? If I wake up early and I'm ready to go, I'll go to Walmart first because I've been going to Aldi plenty of times now. I know what's there. So I don't need to go to Aldi first. I've shopped long enough. I know what's there and I know what I need to get from Walmart. So sometimes I go to Walmart, get the couple things I need, and then boom, 9 o'clock, Aldi's parking lot. There I am getting out of my car. Okay. And then that only takes me like 20 minutes because my groceries app got everything sorted. Wow. I don't think I Englished properly right there. We're going to move on. You can also sort your categories too. So, like, the app by default sorts your categories alphabetically. However, Aldi is not set up alphabetically. It basically goes like their bakery section, um, some snacks, and then it's produce, and then it's deli, and then I come around and it's like the canned products and a little bit more produce. You go down and it's chips, some snacks, and like pasta. So like your soups and your pastas and your mac and cheeses and your seasonings and canned meat. Go around and there's the rice. Go around and we've got cereal and baking. Then you've got like cleaning products and like your napkins, paper plates, paper towels, toilet paper, and then it's the meats, and then technically it's the Aldi Aisle of Shame. If you know, you know. But I skip that because I'm not trying to overspend, I'm trying to stick to my budget. So we skip that aisle, and it's the meats, and then it's dairy, and then it's drinks, and then it's frozen, and it's juice. But drinks, all at the end. But like drinks, usually that'd come before frozen. Uh, and I might have just right now said it before frozen, but it goes at the end because it's also the last thing in Walmart too. Like drinks are at the very far back, in my Walmart. In the front is frozen, and then the middle is all shelf stable food, and then it goes like cereal, chips, drinks, dairy, right? Because you get like your juices, and then you have your sodas and water, and then you have your alcohol, and then you've got like your milk and your eggs and whatever other like juices that have to be refrigerated and like the teas and anyway. Sorry for that sidetrack. But the meal planning. Okay, American Mondays. So that's things like wings and burgers and it can be things like certain sandwiches like patty melts, Reubens, um It's things like, sometimes you just need to cook a ham. You just need to cook a ham. You need to have like a hunk of meat, maybe like a chicken leg and mashed potatoes and vegetables, or maybe it's cold cut sandwiches. It's kind of give and take. It's kind of like like Southern food too would be like American Mondays. I've got a good chicken sauce piquant and jambalaya and gumbo. You know, it's whatever fits the bill for that week. Taco Tuesday, it's not only tacos, it's just Mexican. Oh, you could have done Mexican Monday. Yeah, 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 yeah. I know. I could have. And guess what? I didn't. I did Taco Tuesdays. So it's any Mexican food. Quesadillas, burritos, tacos, a taco soup. Um, you could do like a taco bowl, taco pasta, taco rice, taco dip. Maybe it's literally getting Taco Bell. Whatever. You know? Mexican pizza. Oh my god. Y'all, nope, no, no, no. Staying on focus, staying focused, staying focused. Um, Italian Wednesdays. So that's things, that could consist of pasta dishes, salads. Ooh, there's this chicken saltimbocca that I found. Oh, I would jump in an unmarked vehicle for chicken saltimbocca. Oh my gosh, that stuff is so good. Or pork saltimbocca, not chicken. Asian Thursday. Okay, Asian Thursday kind of got hard. Um, because like when I think of Asian food, because we don't do seafood. He doesn't like seafood, and I'm like, girl, that ain't a problem for me. I learned to like seafood when I moved down here. It wasn't hard to push me to eat seafood, but like if you don't like seafood, that's not going to bother me. That's seafood is an end of the totem pole kind of thing for me, you know? Like cow liver is above seafood. Like I like liver and onions, you know? Then that's above seafood for me personally. So it was not hard when he's like, I don't like seafood. And I'm like, perfect, great. That's one less thing for me to have to worry about. But Asian Thursdays kind of got hard because to me that's like Asian noodle dishes, Asian rice dishes, ramen, which is just a soup, and then hibachi, which is just fancy fried rice, really. I mean, when we do fried rice, I'm already including a meat and a vegetable with that, you know? So it's really just like hibachi twice in a month. So that got kind of hard. So I might, switch that up later, but we'll see. And then Fun Fridays, I have two recipe collections, they're called, for Fun Fridays. One of them is Crockpot and Casserole collection, and the other one is Soup Salad Sandwich collection. So, I mean, that's pretty straightforward, you know, which some things go into multiple categories, you know. Fun Friday, if you need to do breakfast on Monday and then do like a tater tot casserole on Friday, like that's just what it is. But maybe like next month you need to do breakfast on a Friday, you know? Like breakfast can be American or it can be a Fun Friday thing, whatever. And technically, you don't have to stick to this. This is just like a layout grid of like, I don't know what to cook. Because that's always the biggest thing. Once you become an adult, you have to figure out what you're going to eat for 365 days a year, however many years you live after basically 18, you know? So for me, meal planning, it's easier to have a grid and to put in ideas. And then you just transfer that grid over every month and you fill it in. Okay. Some dishes, like I said, are multi collectional. Collectional? I might have just made that word up. I don't know. But like taco soup, like what we just had tonight. That can go on Taco Tuesday and it can also go in the soup salad sandwich Fun Fridays. I try not to repeat too close together. So if I have a soup in the first week, I try to wait at least until either like the end of the second week or the beginning of the third week before I do another soup, just because I don't want to have the same textured or kind of meal too close to each other. Um But girl, you could say, "We're having soup every Monday." It'll be a different soup every time, but it's gonna be soup every Monday, you know? And if that's what you need to do, as long as, like, your family isn't, like, giving their soup to the dog and not eating, girl, go at it. Go at it. This is just what I did. I also have a collection for side dishes and desserts. I make some of my own sauces. Um, I also make some of my own bread products, which I haven't in a while, but we're cutting out as much bread as we can right now anyways. I also have a collection for drinks, which I don't really we don't like make drinks, but I think it'd be fun. It's fun just to have these on hand in case I'm like hosting something or if I'm like, "Ooh, like, hey, like I'm going to come over to your house and we're going to make like these drinks for girls' night or whatever, you know?" I also have a collection for cleaning because I make some of my own cleaning products. I make my own laundry detergent and I make my own disinfectant wipes right now, which it could also be a disinfectant spray. But the wipes are just easier in certain situations. Um, and there's other cleaning products that I'll eventually make. I just have to get it and and get it figured out and stuff. Just have to find them, test them, see if I like them, try to find the recipe if I do like it, quote unquote recipe. But so that's going across, and then from there, what meat? You have your meat and a side, if nothing else. So I rotate between turkey, beef, pork, chicken. Turkey, beef, pork, chicken. For a while, it was beef, pork, chicken, beef, pork, chicken, beef, pork, chicken. And sometimes I'd get turkey instead of beef, depending on what the beef product was. Like if it's like a ground beef for like spaghetti or something, I can replace that with turkey because right now frozen turkey is half the price of frozen beef. It's $5 for 1 pound of beef. It is $2.34 for 1 pound of turkey, and turkey's a lean meat. So, but during the school year, you can add a little bit more creativity with stuff by doing the four. And if you've got the money, shoot, you could add in lamb if that's not that big of a deal. And then from there, for people who do like seafood, add in different seafood things. Like you can do fish, or you can be specific and do like tilapia or salmon, or maybe you do fish. And then on those days, depending on the recipe, you pick what kind of fish. But there's tilapia, salmon, cod, whitefish, redfish, bluefish, one fish, two fish. There's shrimp, there's scallops, there's lobster if you're feeling fancy, crab if you can find it. There's tuna. Because sometimes a tuna sandwich is what you gotta do. Oh my god, there's people out there who like tuna casserole, you know? So when you uh, the possibilities are theoretically endless. But that's what I do. So like American Mondays, maybe we're doing beef, turkey, pork, chicken, beef on Friday. So the next week we'll start with turkey, pork, chicken, beef, turkey on Friday, pork on Monday, chicken, turkey, beef, pork on Friday. You see what I'm saying here? So you're having two of the same meats in a week, but that's me, and that's four. That's not including a seafood. And like fish has that really good omega-3, which is super good for you. Um, so I would definitely encourage, if you don't mind eating fish, definitely put that into your diet because like, unless you have an extremely specific health concern, fish ain't gonna do you no harm, you know? And you can have fun with finding recipes and experimenting with things, trying new foods. That's also something really fun, especially if you're in like a new relationship, like a newer relationship. It's fun. Or like if you've just recently moved in with somebody, it's fun because it's like, hey, we're gonna try something new, which is what tonight was. Tonight was a new recipe. Hey, let's try something new. Um, I started with a recipe and then I changed it in the middle, and so now it's just gonna be whatever it's gonna be. And I have no idea. So, that's fun. We're gonna see if we like dinner tonight or not. What? But you can take these recipes and you can assign them in the meal planning. And so that's what I have a note on every day. And it says, like what the main theme is, like American or Mexican or Italian, and then it has the meat. So then when I'm grocery shopping, um, generally Thursdays is when I do my meal planning. So like I'll look at the week and be like, okay, we've got this meat on this cuisine and this meat on that cuisine. Like, oh, beef on American, bruh, that's hamburgers right there. Boom, done. And we got turkey on Taco Tuesday. You can do anything. Turkey, you could treat it just like beef. Anything you put ground beef and you put ground turkey in, all the same, you know? Burritos, tacos, quesadilla, a soup. It literally, to me, tastes identical when you season it the same way. So, oh, also a fun one when you have pork on Taco Tuesday, you can do chorizo. Um, there's also oh my god, I'm missing the word. Birria, which I think is mainly beef. I think that's a beef chuck that they put in. Birria is beef, but I don't know. Aldi has this it might be a pork. I don't know. It's probably actually beef. No, I think it is a beef. It's a beef cut of some sort and they pre-soak it in birria seasonings and stuff and ooh, it's good. It's good. But that is how I do my meal planning. And if you need to do heavy on the crock pot, heavy on the casserole, and like every Wednesday is a leftover night, so you only have to plan 4 meals in your week, girl, do that. Girl, do whatever's easiest for you. Um, but I just wanted to share that for those who also struggle in meal planning and deciding, "Oh my god, what in the hell are we gonna freaking eat this week?" I do weekly grocery shopping. That's just what's easier for me. I've done monthly in the past, and if you're trying to fit in those fruits and vegetables and stuff, they do not last a whole month. You have to eat your fresh produce in the beginning of the month if you only do monthly grocery shopping. And so then by the end of the month, you're like you're living on frozen pizzas theoretically, you know? So, but that's if that's what you do, that's what you do. There's nothing wrong with it as long as everyone's getting fed, you know? So, that's what I do. You know what? I'm actually gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take a screenshot of this on the Google store and I'm gonna share it to my Instagram so you can see what the app looks like. And you guys will see it now and you'll be like, okay, cool, any list, what's that? But yeah, you guys will get you guys will get the you'll see it first and be like, okay, what? And then like you'll hear the episode and be like, oh, okay. So I'm gonna post that right now before I forget because I'm pretty sure there was something else I was supposed to post and I forgot. And I don't know what it is. If you guys know what it is, like let me know. Okay. I'm in the middle of posting that, so I won't forget. Okay. Now, let me tell you guys about my weekend. Y'all, crazy. So, I'm going to tell y'all in chronological order what we've got going on here. Okay. I'm also going to um I don't know what the word is other than prerequisite, and that's not the right word. I'm just going to like pre-warn. I'm going to say this at the beginning, okay? I might say some things that seem like I am poking and being mean at someone and calling somebody out. You'll know when we get there. I am not. I am just stating like facts of what have happened. Okay? I am not mad at this person anymore. I am over it. I mean, of course, like it's all said and done. I'm in the past, but there's just been some things that have happened, and you'll know when we get there. And I'm not trying to like piss anybody off or anything. This is just simply what has happened. Um, so Friday night, already starting off on a low because I went to bed at like 11:30. And I never go to bed at 11:30, but my antics were just so high and I was like, "Oh my gosh," because this is the weekend that I went to St. Louis to meet my mom and we got to go to the St. Louis Zoo and I got to give my mom my daughter for 3 weeks. I love my mom, I love seeing my parents, and then, oh, on top of it, we're gonna go to the zoo, and the zoo's free because it's on a state park, and I'm so excited, I've never been to this zoo before, and so, I was excited, I couldn't go to sleep, and at 11:30, I was like, "Oh, shoot, I need to put my phone down if I'm gonna, like, actually get sleep now," because usually I'll play my phone for a little bit before bed, and I, like, it gets my eyes tired, this was not doing it. This was not doing it for me. So I was like, "Ugh, God, 11:30, because I had to be up at 5. I have to be up at 5 and get moving and out the door by 5:30 if I'm gonna make it to the zoo by, like, 12:30, probably 1 if you include gas break, pee break, whatever. So I'm like, "Okay, 11:30, let's go to bed." My body says, "Oh, you wanted to sleep until 5? Wrong. We're gonna wake you up at 4 in the morning, and you're not gonna be able to go to bed." And if anyone knows me, I like my sleep. Always have, always will. When the doctor says, "Are you getting 8 hours of sleep?" Yes, ma'am. I prioritize my sleep. Do not wake me up early. I will be crabby. Okay? So when my body said, "Hey, let's wake up at 4 and let's think about the whole entire trip before you, and let's make sure we make that list of things we need to do before we leave in that 30 minutes, and let's make sure we don't forget anything, except you're going to think about it and then you're going to forget about it because you're going to get sidetracked actually doing it, and you're going to forget to do one of your things. But don't worry about that now. Let's just make the list. Let's think about everything." And I was like, okay. So, like, I try to go back to sleep. I couldn't. 5 o'clock gets here, and I'm like, "Ugh, okay, all right, great." Like, it's already an early day because 'cause we're waking up at 5, but I guess it's just gonna be earlier because we're waking up at 4. Cool, 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 cool. So, get up, I get dressed, get the rest of the stuff put in the car because I packed the night before, of course, as the person I am, but, like, you can't pack everything, you know, like your purse, your drinks, your snacks. So, I get all that in, I get Ava up, get dressed, get going, but get her in the car. Um, and Josh is, leaves the button clicker behind, locks the door, yada yada. Our friend came. We left the dogs and the cats home, and my friend came and dog and house sat for us, which was super awesome. So, all right, here we go. Let's go. Like, car's all gassed up. We got our drinks. We're not hungry yet because it's 5:30 in the morning. We're still half asleep. Let's just get on the road and get going. So we get on the road, and we're driving, and things are going okay. Now, one thing about this car is the windshield wipers are never fast enough. The whole time I've said this, the whole time I've complained about it. The windshield wipers are not fast enough at their highest, and it is scattered showers the whole day. Another thing I can't stand is when the sky is the same color as the road, because then the reflection is weird depending on where the sun is, and then it depends on where how you sit in your car and everything. And sometimes I can't see the white line. So sometimes I gotta go like 35 miles an hour on the road in order to see. Um, I also have this extremely big fear that my brakes are not going to work, that my tires are going to pop, even though I just got brand new tires like a month ago. Or that when it's raining, when I have to drive in weather, that I'm going to start sliding. And this has been a fear of mine for a very long time, well before the Kansas City trip. Y'all know about that. Okay. I just have this immense fear of driving in the dark and driving in weather because and then, it's like a fourth thing, other people driving with me in the dark or the weather because like people are driving in the dark, maybe they get tired, they fall asleep and they crash into me, or they don't see the deer and the deer crashes in them and then I can't stop fast enough and I crash into them or something. And with weather, maybe their tires aren't that good. Maybe their brakes aren't that good. And they start spinning out and they crash into me. Like it's not my fault that all these fears that I have is also for them and their cars too. Okay? It is very, I don't know, I would not say very unreasonable, but it's like, okay, It's almost like, what's the word? Dehi Debilitating? Something like that. Like, ugh, it shoots my anxiety through the roof. So it's on and off raining, having a hard time seeing. I've got to go super duper slow. I need, I need it pretty quiet so I can focus. It's the whole turn the volume down so you can see better kind of thing. It's just, white knuckling the steering wheel for me in this car. And I'm just like, oh my God, like, please just get me through, just get me through. And then Illinois. So we go up through Nashville, we go up into Kentucky, past Paducah, get into Illinois. Illinois is basically all construction. I hate driving in construction because sometimes it is not very clear as to which lane is your lane because we've got old dotted line and we got the new dotted line, but do people know which one? Like, is the driver next to me who's super old and can't see the road very well going to be able to tell which dotted line's the right dotted line? I don't know. You know, um, it's smaller roads than normal. Well, we have to go 45 in a construction, but everyone else wants to go 60 and 65 and 70 because it's the weekend, so there's not any workers out. On and off raining, it's ugh, extremely, extremely stressful. So, um, I was in Kentucky. We got through Nashville, we got into Kentucky. Okay. One thing with my car is the plastic shield on the bottom front of the car. Okay. So, my car, a 2021 Honda Civic hatchback, for those who are car people and know, it's got one main plastic piece that is a usual plastic piece on every single car. Everyone's got it. Cool, 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 cool. It's got the wheel plastic fender thing in the front. It goes down and it covers, it's like a horseshoe, goes along, clips up in front. It comes up in front like the lip to the front of the car, comes up and it is the passenger side wheel well cover. And then Honda said, let's put a middle shield, like a circle shield in the middle of the horseshoe, too. Well, the last time that Honda did my oil under the warranty, they didn't put it on right. So then it started dragging. It was dragging on the road, and it's just plastic. Plastic gets filed down super easy. So eventually, over the years of it not getting put back on right, of people losing the clips and it's not getting back on right, this circular shield has just been dragging and being grinded off, and it's basically non existent, right? Well, unbeknownst to me, the normal horseshoe shaped plastic piece needs those clips that have been missing. So what's been happening is the center of the horseshoe has been drooping down, it's been leaning down, and then that has been dragging on the road too. Well, eventually it decided to happen on this trip. The front of that horseshoe, the one that flips up and clips on, it's got a lip right over the very front of the car. It just completely bent down and broke off. So where the front of my car is supposed to have this nice black plastic lip on the very bottom of the front bumper, half of it is missing, the very middle. And in Katie's, I almost said Katy, Texas. In Katie's, Kentucky, we had to find a Dollar General to go get some zip ties. And he had to zip tie this undercarriage plastic piece to my car so we could make it the rest of the way to St. Louis without having any major drag. And that right there was like the last straw for me. I was like, look, let me go through the grocery list. Let me go through the laundry list. That's what I want to say. The laundry list of things that are wrong or have happened to this car. Okay. I think the number one thing that's wrong with this car, or has been done to this car, or is just the state of the car, is the fact that it almost had 200,000 miles on it in 4 years. okay? This car was brand new, 11 miles off the lot. It was supposed to last me a very long time. And due to previous circumstances, it I ended this trip with 184,000 plus miles on it. And it's a 2021. And that's a lot of miles, okay? Yes, we've taken some pretty big trips on it, but that's not the main reason why. And it doesn't matter what the main reason why is, okay? If you know, you know. So it had almost 200,000 miles in 4 years. Um, the front bumper was cracked up because my best friend backed up into me. She had a pretty big car, and for some reason, she didn't know that I had parked behind her, and she backed into me. On the driver's side, some high schooler, this was back in Mobile. Some high schooler was on their way to Walmart, I guess, and I'm in the turn lane, and they don't T-bone me, but they pull into me. Like, you know when you're in a long line and you're like, "Man, I'm just gonna switch lanes," and you turn to the other lane? That's what he did into me. And because he never reported it to his insurance, and I have shitty car insurance, I could not get it replaced. I couldn't get it fixed. So both my door and the back passenger door have a dent in that middle part where they meet because some kid ran into us. Now, it didn't affect the drivability or the opening ability of the doors. Just perfectly fine. It was just like, yeah, it's kind of a sore eye spot. The back of the car, my ex-spouse ran into a mailbox. Now, granted, he replaced that tail light that broke. So, I mean, it looks like nothing's wrong, but that's the tally for the back. Um, and then on the passenger side, a few years back, coming down from Huntsville, going back home to Mobile, a deer ran into us. I didn't run into the deer. A deer ran into us and took out my passenger mirror. So now I have an aftermarket passenger mirror that doesn't match the rest of the car because like the mirror is supposed to be silver, but this one's black. Now, granted, like the car exterior colors are silver and black, so it didn't really stick out that bad if you didn't notice, but like it doesn't match. It works fine. It doesn't match. My windshield, 2 weeks after getting the car, brand new, Mobile's has I-10 that goes through it, and I-10 has had construction going on the whole time that I've lived in Mobile. I lived down there for like 5, 6 years, something like that. And the whole time it's always had construction going on with it. So I got a nice little circular chip on the corner of my windshield. It never grew, so I never did anything about it. It was not obstructing my view in the slightest. You can't even really see it from the inside of the car. So it stayed that side forever, so I never worried about getting it replaced. On a different trip a couple years later, though, I got a nice big rock to my windshield, and it caused a huge crack in my windshield. Now, being a 2021, it has that special camera where you can put on cruise control and you can set the distance between you and the car in front of you, and it'll monitor and match their speed. It can monitor your driving between the lines, and if you start to come too close, it'll auto correct for you. Um, gosh, what else? I think those are the main two things, or three things, or however many I just listed right there. It's the cruise control, the distance control, the line control, I think is what it was. Well, I got this crack, and it does not go in front of the camera, but it went, you know, that black speckled webbing kind of that's on the side of your mirror. It went up through there. And I guess the camera can just barely see that out of the far right view span of the camera. And so my camera said, "Oh, you have a crack in your windshield. Well, you're not going to have cruise control anymore. And because you don't have cruise control anymore, you don't have the spacing and you don't have the alignment thing. So, sorry." So for like the past like 3 or 4 years, I haven't had cruise control on my car. And I mean, after the first 6 months, you get used to it, but, like, ugh, it's annoying when you make, like, a 13-hour road trip to not have cruise control, you know? So, And, like, over the years, like, my that bottom plastic piece has just been going, so whatever. Also, this car, Honda decided we're gonna make our car sit lower. Like, the actual distance between the car and the ground is going to be lower, it's going to be less. Just 'cause, "Ooh, it's a sport car," because the Honda Civic Sport hatchback. Sport car, so you wanna go fast, so, to be fast, you gotta sit closer to the ground to be fast, and to hit those curves. So, it sits lower, therefore, any pothole ever, you feel it drastically. Any driveway or parking lot that kinda goes up a hill, you have to go slow. You will scrape the bottom of your car. That's it oh my god. So, that just the scraping also, at this point, my shocks were out too. So, like, when you hit these divots and when, on the highway, when you're going 70 miles an hour and you're going across the bridge and the cement pieces are just built weird and you go as you're going over, like, normally, mine, you would rock back and forth. So it's like, like, you felt everything in that car because it was low and the shocks were out. And I mean, oh, excuse me, my car, the back passenger wheel, I got the brakes done on it because it's time for them to be replaced after a while, the brakes. And the person who did the brakes, they they put them on right, like, the brakes still worked, but they were jiggly in the back on that side. There was something like a connector or something that was jiggly, which is where I think my extreme paranoia and fear that my brakes aren't going to work. Now, granted, that's like a nightmare I have often, but that didn't help. Hearing my brakes jiggle, like, that's not supposed to happen if a brake is gonna work properly, you know? So, we could never get it fixed after that happened, but it didn't affect the stoppingness of the car, so whatever, it's not broken entirely, don't fix it. So, but, like, you'd hear that. When we replaced the passenger mirror after the deer hit us, there was a slight teeny tiny opening somewhere, like, we didn't get it completely put back, and so there was a whistle when you would drive, right? Like, because air going in through that crack and it's whistling in the car. So, and I mean, this car it's just it's been everywhere, you know. And I going to St. Louis and having to stop in Kentucky and literally thinking to myself, "Oh my god, I'm not going to be able to make this trip, let alone make a trip to Nebraska and back in a couple weeks." I was like, after this trip, no. That's it. I'm done with this car. I'm getting a new car. I'm over it. This is the last straw for me. I deserve a new car, new beginning for me. So I'm gonna get a new car. We'll get to that later. So zip tie it, get through St. Louis, and oh my god. We get through Illinois and we stop in O'Fallon, just in O'Fallon, Illinois, just outside. And I'm like, "Ugh, I don't want anything heavy because 'cause we're going to the zoo and we're gonna eat afterwards. I just want something light for lunch." We get there probably about 1 o'clock, 1:30ish. Um, because this whole gosh darn zip tie thing, sets us back an hour. And I'm pulling up to the Subway because I just want, like, a nice light sandwich. It's raining, kind of overstimulated because I'm really pissed about the car, I'm pissed about the rain, I'm pissed about the drivers. I just want my goddamn sandwich, and I just wanna get to the zoo where it's done. I'm pissed because it's raining, and what if it's raining when we get to the zoo and we can't do the zoo because it's raining? It's gonna really piss me off because I woke up at 4 in the morning because of this. And I'm pulling up, and the Subway's in, like, a little shop area where it's, like, 2 or 3 stores put together, and there's a sidewalk in front, and I fricking run into the sidewalk. And I'm like, "You have got to be kidding me. If I have just ruined the whole front bottom of my car, it's already ruined because that plastic piece broke off, but if all of the things like, I don't know what's down there, but it's very important stuff because I've been yelled at multiple times for when I, run into things because I don't stop soon enough. I am just oh my god. I'm at my near wit's end with this. Park, go get our sandwich, eat sandwich, go to the zoo. We had a great time at the zoo. Oh my gosh. If you can, go to the St. Louis Zoo. It is such a fun little place. Parking is $20. If you park in the zoo parking lot, it's $20. But the zoo itself is free. But since it's in a state park, it's the state park is bigger than the zoo. So there's other roads that you can park on for free in the state park if you don't mind walking a little bit to get to the zoo entrance, depending on where you park. They have a north entrance and a south entrance. Um, Ava had a blast. She had a blast. It was so much fun to get to see. Oh my god, some of their buildings, they have a middle part in the building that is like a nature area. And some of them have animals in the nature area, like in the amphibian and reptile building. The middle part had soft shelled turtles, and it was so cool. In the ape building, the middle part was just fauna and flora, you know? In the bird building, that's where their ducks were. They had a whole bunch of little ducks and they had some other birds, and it was like a free flying middle area. Now, visitors cannot walk into this middle area. It is like fenced off. Um but it was so cool. Um it is definitely a lot smaller than the Omaha Zoo, but that was expected. Um they have a lot of like, the way how they have their outdoor animal areas set up was so cool, and, oh my gosh, oh god, Ava's getting so big, she's so funny, she was throwing jokes and shade and comments left and right, you know, like, we got up to the donkey, and I said, "Hey, look, that's Josh," and he's like, "No." He looks at Ava, he goes, "No, that's mommy," and she looks at the donkey, she goes, "Hi, Josh." Oh my goodness, it was so funny. And, like, going with my mom too, that's always so fun because she has so many fun, like, animal facts about these things too, and because it's the summer, they have, like, volunteer not children staff, no, that's not the word, but, like, younger adults who intern for them, um, and they have, like, different areas around the zoo that they stand, and they just give out some zoo facts about the animals and stuff. And so it was cool because we got to some of them, and mom wouldn't say anything initially, and, I'd ask, I'd interact, she'd ask some questions, she'd interact, and then I'd look at her and be like, "So what do you know about this stuff?" And then that's where, "Oh, hi, I work at the Henry Dorley Zoo in Omaha." And it's cool because I think it's like, some vet guy for Henry Dorley Zoo or, like, the CEO or something like that, someone super duper duper high up at the Omaha Zoo used to be that person for the St. Louis Zoo. Um, yeah, and, so there was some very high up people there because you could tell by the way they dressed. She's like, "Hi," like, "Oh, guess what? Like, I work at the Henry Dorley Zoo, which is where Doctor such and such works at." And, like, none of these people knew who this guy was. And she's just like, "Oh, okay, well, I know something you don't, huh?" And they have a train that goes around the zoo also, and it was it was cool to see how they did a zoo, you know? And it was very fun. Ava had a blast. I had a blast. We actually only did half of the zoo that day. Um so next summer we plan on coming back doing this again, and we'll do the other half of the zoo next summer. Because this summer when we pick up Ava, I'm gonna go all the way up. So I'm not stopping at we're not stopping at the St. Louis Zoo a second time this summer. But next summer when we meet halfway, we'll do the second half of the zoo. And it's just, oh god, it was so cool, so nice. It was, yeah. I definitely 10 out of 10 would recommend if you can go to St. Louis during the daytime, when you can during regular hours, go to the zoo. You will not regret it. I think going to any zoo is never a bad idea. I don't think there's any like bad zoos out there, you know? So that was a zoo. Oh, also, funny to say that happened on that Saturday. On the Friday before, I was looking back at memories, and on that Friday 4 years ago was a big trip we took to the Henry Dorley Zoo. And then 2 years ago, we took a trip to the Audubon Zoo. And then I was like, "Oh, tomorrow I'm going to the St. Louis Zoo." Well, I guess this is just zoo time for us in our timeline, you know? So, let's see. So we go to the zoo, and then oh my gosh, we go and we get Raising Cane's. I have not had Raising Cane's in so long. There's only 2 Raising Cane's in the whole state of Alabama. One of them is in Mobile, which is like 6 or 7 hours away from me, and the other one is in Tuscaloosa on the college campus, and they only hire college kids, therefore they go by college hours. I don't think they're open right now because it's summer. College is out, you know? Um, I'm not going to say I'm disappointed. I'm just going to say I did not expect that. So Tuscaloosa really isn't an option for me. Tuscaloosa's, you know, maybe an hour away for me. And it's not an option because they go by college hours. And most of the time that doesn't work for my schedule to go down there and get canes, you know? Um, so I was super excited. Josh got to try Raising Cane's for the first time, and I've needed that in my life for so long, and it made me so happy. Made me so happy. We stayed the night at basically an Airbnb in St. Louis. And then the next morning, my body said, "Remember how you're super duper pissed at your car and how you're super duper worried if your car will even make it back in one piece back to Huntsville? Let's think about that starting now at 4 o'clock in the morning again. Wakey, wakey, eggs and bakey." So, Sunday, I wake up at 4 a.m. And I'm like, "You have got to be kidding me. Not this again." Now, granted, I'm not on a timeline this time, so I can try and go back to sleep, wake up in a few hours, but nope, not my anxiety. It said, "Let's think about this. Let's worry about this. Let's think about everything that could possibly go wrong. Let's review the whole trip we just took, but backwards, because that's the way you're going to be going forwards. Let's think about, oh, you want to go to Scooters. Okay, what about your order at Scooters? Well, what might he want at Scooters? Well, what if they don't have what I want at Scooters? Well, then what else do I want from Scooters? Do I even want Scooters? What if he really doesn't want Scooters? If he doesn't really want Scooters, do I really want Scooters? Maybe I should just not go to Scooters. Maybe we should just pick something else. Maybe we should just go to McDonald's so we can get breakfast. But what if he's not hungry for breakfast? And is he still going to be down for Scooters? Like, the anxiety Sunday morning, mixed with the frustration of my car from the day before, mixed with the anger of, "You're kidding me, I'm waking up at 4:30 again?" Ugh. So, get up, get moving. We go to Scooters. I got my usual strawberry smoothie, add peanut butter. If you like peanut butter jelly sandwiches and you don't mind it being in a liquid form, that's what you need to go with. I love it. It's the only thing I get from Scooters. Um, he went with a s'mores cold brew, which really just tasted like an iced coffee. Ooh, God, what is that? Oh, oh, it's not a spider. I'm such a freaking idiot. I'm sorry, guys. I need to I need to quit playing with extra stuff. Anyway, get on the road and we're going. And it's Father's Day. Um, we stop in Hopkinsville at the Cracker Barrel and we meet his dad and we have like a brunch. And his dad comes and talks with us and, chills and hangs out. He had already just eaten breakfast, so he didn't get anything, but he met us for brunch at the Cracker Barrel, and it was nice. It was a nice. It was it was extra nice because when he called his dad, he's like, "Hey, Dad, we're like 10 minutes away from Hopkinsville. Do you want to meet us somewhere and we'll like grab like an early lunch?" "Oh, well, son, your mom and we just got done eating, but I'll still come out and meet you because, I'd love to get to see you today on your guys' trip back home." "Oh, yeah, yeah, we'll be there about 10 minutes, Daddy." "Okay, well, I gotta get gas. Y'all get there. Y'all sit down, get your food order. Don't worry about us. We'll be right behind you." And his dad thought that he had hung up, but he made a comment. He said, "Wow, I get to see my son on Father's Day." And he's like, I didn't even think I'd get to do that. Click, hang up. And I could see, like, I looked out of the corner of my eye and I could just see the positive emotion on Josh's face of like, wow, his dad is like super duper excited to get to see him today. And just like that random comment that his dad didn't think that we heard, it was just it was a nice ray of sunshine, you know? Um, so we get there, we eat, we talk. Pretty sure my waitress was on drugs. I don't know. That's a whole nother thing I'm not gonna get into right now. So we leave, get up, get going. We get back into town. Um, we unpack the car. I take a little nap. I wake up. I go grocery shopping. Um, Mom and Dad call me because I sent a late Mother's Day gift and Father's Day gift. So they FaceTime me while I was grocery shopping and they opened those up and they liked them. So that was nice, which I haven't been able to get my parents like a Father's Day and Mother's Day gift in like a very long time. So it was really nice to get to do that for them. Um, oh, Sunday on the way back, I told Josh, I said, look, I do not want this car anymore. Like I'm about dead set on I do not want this car anymore. I want to go look at a new car and I want to be getting a new car, preferably before our trip back to Nebraska, because I do not want the bottom of this falling out on the way back. And he's like, well, baby, it's okay. We can just, I got to change the oil on it anyway. I just pop that off when I do the oil. And I'm like, yeah, if I can't find a car that's in the budget, in the miles that I like, then we'll go that route. That'll be plan B. But I'm ready to let this car go. So we look at some websites online in the area for some dealerships on their used cars because I still owe 9,000 on this car and I had almost 200,000 miles. I'm like, and I have no down payment. So I'm like, a used car is what's going to have to be, you know? So we're looking at these used cars online and everything and I'm like, okay, send me this one, send me this one, send me this one, send me that one, and that's what I'll look at. Um, so having that have happened, Monday, Monday morning, start of a new work week, my brain, hey, good morning. I see it's 4 o'clock. Do you want to wake up and, think about how you're going to do this car thing and stress over this car thing like you've been for the past 2 days? I think, it's 4:05. I think it's time you should wake up and start your Monday. And I said, you have got to be kidding me. 3 mornings in a row? My anxiety is going to wake me up at 4 in the morning? Oh my God. So I'm laying there and I'm like, please, like this is a morning I can sleep until like 7:30. I don't have to think about nothing. Please, 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 please let me go to bed. Please let me go back to bed. I have work today. I already sitting in front of a computer for 8 hours a day. I take the first lunch, which is at 11 Central Standard Time. Um, so usually like 12:30, 1 o'clock, I'm like sitting there in the post lunch fog trying to keep my eyes open. I already get really tired at my job. Waking me up at 4 in the morning, I won't be able to do my job. I'm going to be so dang exhausted. I'm not going to be able to survive. So I'm like, okay, it's 4 in the morning. I'm not going back to sleep. Well, by this time it's 4:30. I'm not going back to sleep. Like my brain is nowhere near the kind of brain fog it needs to be for me to know I'm going to go back to sleep. Well, let me think about this. Do I just take today off and I just go car hunting? Or do I work today? Because like the car dealership doesn't close till 7:30. I have plenty of time. I can make it, but then the odds are that someone will have to stay late or I'll have to go multiple times. And I really don't want to have to take multiple trips. Like, y'all, I hate clothes shopping. You think I hate clothes shopping? I hate having to go back to the same store multiple times a day. So I'm like, or maybe I just do a half day because, like, there's nothing worse than waking up on a Monday, coming into work, and then finding out one of your coworkers has called out. Especially with an office job, a stay-at-home office job, because then it's like, well, she has all these patients that she's waiting on responses on from the branches that we're not a part of, and we don't know what's going on. We're gonna send all these emails out, blah blah blah. So I make the decision of doing a half day. So I can at least come in the morning, go through my email, take care of any mess from last week, take care of any mess from this weekend, and get my workflow down as low as I can. Like set my team up for the best that I can do. Um, so I do that at 11:30. I leave and I go straight to the dealership. And I am so anxious. I haven't eaten anything because I can't, my stomach is just in shambles. I haven't eaten anything. I brought a drink with me, but like I get there and I'm just, I'm like, please, I would like to just have one of the cars that I picked out, just one of them, you know? So I park and I walk up, and of course they've always got people sitting out in the front. And they're like, "Oh, hey, hi." I went to Schottenkirk Honda in Huntsville. Like, "Hey, how are you doing today?" And I'm like, "I'm good. Look, let me cut to the chase, okay? I need a female sales associate, please. I'm gonna buy a car today, hopefully, and a man is not gonna want to deal with my emotional ass because I had already had a breakdown this Monday morning. I was in the kitchen crying because I was so stressed out, and it doesn't help. I think it was a mix of 3 days in a row waking up at 4 in the morning, and then the whole day has been nothing but anxiety. Saturday, all day anxiety. Well, except for the zoo, but that was just very physically exhausting. But that whole way leading to St. Louis, I was so anxious because of the weather and the bottom of my car. I was in like a high state of anxiety the whole time. Sunday, coming back, a mixture of exhaustion and high anxiety of the state of my car the whole time. So luckily, it didn't rain. I was in cloudy, sunny skies, for the whole time. But just, thinking, okay, I can't go too fast because I don't want to get air flow underneath here. And I got to make sure I take these parts lightly. I mean, good Lord. The roads in St. Louis, I could never. Not good for a low car, especially with plastic that the zip ties, you think about if your zip ties get shaven off from the car smacking the bottom of the road, that's not going to be good. You only got so many zip ties in a pack. You know what I'm saying? So I can't go too fast. All these reasons, and then it's construction, and then it's idiot drivers, and I'm just, ugh. High anxiety all day Sunday. And then Monday, I wake up again and it's anxiety in the morning. And it's like, well, is my boss going to be mad that I need to take off this morning unexpectedly? And what do I do? And, ooh, like, am I going to get a car today or am I not going to get a car today? What if I can't get a car? Then I'm stuck with this thing still. And I had a breakdown. I think I've just been in such constant high stress and anxiety and no sleep. I think just like I have nothing left to give. So I get there, I'm like, look, female sales associate stat, please, because a man is not going to want to deal with my emotional ass today. Okay. So they say, oh, you know what? Christina's working today. Let me go get Christina. And I'm like, oh, Christina? She sounds nice. Anyone who has a name that sounds like Christina sounds really nice. So she's a divorced mother. She's got 2 children. And I said, that's perfect. Because in my head, I'm thinking she's going to be able to relate to me. I'm going to tell her my story quickly. I'm going to tell her what's up. I'm a basically divorced mother of 1 child. So she's going to understand what I'm looking for and why I'm looking for it. She's not going to try and push some hot little sexy brand new sports car on me. She understands that I'm looking for a car that I've got space in, but not a huge car. Something that's still good on mileage, but I can do this trade in. add on what I've got left, and that my payments are going to be what I want them to be. So her and we worked together. It was awesome. One of the kids who was standing out front, he was 22. He comes up, he's like, "Hey, are you guys okay? Like if I shadow you?" Because he wants to be a salesman one day. I'm like, "Oh, yeah, sure." So we're looking through the website. We're doing a little bit of paperwork. And he goes, "So I saw your front plate said Huskers. Where are you from?" I said, "Oh, I'm from Omaha." And he goes, "You're from Hawaii?" Uh, oh, no. Nope. Nope. I'm from Nebraska. He said, "There's two Omahas? Oh my God, that's so crazy. I didn't know that." And I look at Christina, and Christina looks at me, and we both start laughing. We're like, "No, no, honey, you're thinking of Oahu in Hawaii, not Omaha. Not the same place. Good try. You think my pasty ass is from Hawaii? Yeah. If you think I used to live in Hawaii, you think y'all want to live on the mainland? Hell no. If I'm born and raised in Hawaii, I'm probably going to be staying in Hawaii. Shoot. Anyway, so that was really funny. That really brightened up the day. But I test drove a Honda. I think it was like a 2023 HRV, and I got in it. I looked at the trunk space. I looked at the back row space, like the back cab space. I looked at the passenger space. I looked for cup holders. Um, I we kept track of the mileage to price, and we kept within a certain, degree of each. And I test drove the HRV, and I said, it's nice, it's great. It's just a taller version of my hatchback though. The trunk space is basically the same size. The back row, space is basically the same size. The passenger space is basically the same size. It's just a little bit taller. And I don't want that. I want more passenger space for Josh. He's got long legs. He needs more leg space. Um, I would like there to be more back row space because I also have two dogs and I have a child. She's getting bigger. So she's going to need a little bit more space. Also, this helps with any kind of road trip whatsoever. And I want a little bit more trunk space because, again, I've got dogs, and eh, I like to be able to carry my shit, I've got a lot of shit. I like to carry it around. So to have a little bit more trunk space would be nice because there's been a couple close calls that, okay, yeah, I made it in the hatchback. Barely. Like, it's a tight fit. And if I had a little bit more trunk space, it would have been like a nice, comfy, good fit. But, we made strides in the hatchback. But I said I want a little bit bigger, just a little bit. She's like, "Okay, all right." So I'm like, "Let's look at the CRV." And she goes, "That's exactly what I was gonna say next." She goes, with the criteria you're looking for, I'm thinking that CRV is gonna be what you want. The CRV is just a slightly bigger version of an HRV. So get it, we're driving around, and I'm like, "Oh," and this is a 2019 CRV. It's got the same like mechanics, like dashboard technicalities as my hatchback. So I'm like, "Okay, all right." The back seat's a little bigger, the trunk's a little bigger, there's more passenger. Okay, cool. I like this. This so far, CRV is number one, HRV is number two. Okay. Um, we visually looked at a Hyundai Kona, but it was the same size as the HRV, and I didn't even test drive it. I said, nope. Um, we sat inside of a 2024 HRV, so it had upgraded tech, and I said, "I like it. I like it. I don't like the size." And she's like, all right. I hear ya. I hear ya. I got you." I was going to look at a Chevy Trailblazer, but that one, someone else was looking at it, so she couldn't get the key. And we're looking, we're scrolling, and I'm thinking it's a CRV. And I said, "You know what? How about you just go pull the keys for the Hyundai Tucson? Let's just, I mean, I'm here test driving. I'm here to look around. Let's just look." She's okay. I'm gonna go get him. So go get him. We get in, and I'm like, dang. It's a 2024 Honda Tucson SEL. SEL. I'm looking. I'm like, okay, all right. It feels kind of big. It's a lot bigger than my little hatchback. My very first car ever was a 2010 GMC Acadia. So I'm not, and of course, like every time I have gone up to Nebraska to visit my parents, I've driven my mom's Honda Passport, and I've driven my friend's 2010, 2011 Ford Escape before. Um, when I was in college and I lived with my grandma over the summer, I have taken her Chevy Tahoe a couple times. So like, I'm not, I'm not. I have a little bit of experience with driving a big car. It's been a minute because for the past 6 years, well, wait, hold on. It's 2025, 26. Probably for the past like 7 or 8 years, I've had cars, sedans. I had yeah, I've had the hatchback, which is a four-door sedan, and I had before that was a two-door 1998 Honda Civic, maybe like an LX or something, I don't know, little coupe. And then before that was my four-door 2009 Chevy Impala. So, my past 3 cars have been small cars. And now you got me up in here in a big Hyundai Tucson. And I said, "Good Lord, do you see this volume knob? That is the sickest thing ever. That's awesome. Do you see this cup holder and that cup holder and those cup holders in the back and these cup holders in the door? Huh. Okay. All right. Okay. Do you see how it's got less than 30,000 miles on it? Girl, what? What else about it? I said, "Ooh, and did you notice it has a built-in Bluetooth charging pad for my phone, so I don't have to plug it up with a cord anymore in the front, and it automatically Bluetooths my Apple Play to the car system?" That's pretty sick, dude. And oh, there's not a crack in the windshield, so I can actually use Hyundai Sense, which is just like Honda Sense, in the fact of it has a camera. So when I put on cruise control, you can set the distance between you and the car in front of you, and it has the line detection to keep you in between the lines too. What? I've got that with this, and I can actually use it this time? What? And the back row has access to their own air, and it's not just a tube that's controlled from the front under the seats that go to the back. They have their own actual little air vents that they can control. Girl, what? Do you see all this space everywhere? Girl, what? I said, I went around the parking lot a few times, made some turns. I said, "Hey, this has a pretty nice turn radius too for a big old SUV." Mhm, mhm, mhm. I said, "Christina, I think I think we need to go in and we need to talk." And she said, "Oh, you want to talk about this one?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. I think we're going to talk about this one." So that's what we did. We went back to her desk and we talked about this 2024 Hyundai Tucson SEL for a reasonable price. She said, "Okay, first things first, we got to get your car approved." Now, do I need to remind you the laundry list of things that's going on with my 2021 Honda Civic Sport hatchback? It was a pretty long list. She took it up. She comes back down. I'm crossing my fingers that I get $1,000 out of this. I'm thinking, boom, high mileage on a newer car like this, that's gonna tank it. She goes, "Okay, so we can only do 6,000 for your car." I said, "Only? We can only do 6,000? Have you seen the outside of my car? Did you miss the part where I told you the bottom is being held together with zip ties? Have you seen the windshield? Have you seen the driver door? Only 6,000? Girl, where do I sign?" Give me that paper. Now, I still owed a little bit over 9,000 on it, so it didn't completely take care of that, but 3,000 was way better to tack on to the price, to my overall like loan price than 9,000. And I walked in there with a pretty freaking good credit score. You know what? I'll just share it. I can brag about it. It's my blogcast. I walked in there with a 771 credit score. You know, I was really riding on my credit score. And she said, "So your down payment?" I'm like, "Yeah, about that." Yep. She goes, "Look, look, 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 look. You don't have to. You're not going to make a payment. Your first payment on this car isn't for 45 days. So, can you at least put like next month's car payment as a down payment on?" And I said, "You know what? I can do that. I can do next month's car payment as a down payment for this." So that way it's not completely nothing. It's not a lot, but it's not nothing, especially with a trade like this. So next month's car payment is this down payment plus, the 6,000 coming off for the trade in. My monthly payments are a little bit higher, but not unmanageably higher. Like they're an expected, like we were like, okay, we can go up to this amount and it's at that amount. I'm like, okay, yeah, we need to stop here, but yes, I can afford these payments. And I got a 7.1% interest rate. Um, Hell yeah, dude. I drove off that lot with my brand new Hyundai Tucson, and I did it all by myself. I did not have no man there. This was all on me, and I did a good job because I told her, I said, "Christina, look, last time when I got my brand new car, my brand new car, it was the only one we looked at. We walked in there, we said, maybe we'll get a car, maybe we won't. It's fine if we don't." And the sales guy sold us on this car. He did a very good job at selling us on this car, and it ended up being the only car we looked at. And there have been some times in the past when we were like, "Man, I wish we would have looked at other cars. This isn't a bad car. It's a great car, but I kind of wish like we wouldn't have been like so sold and glorified on the first thing we saw." So I said, even though I like the CRV, I'm still gonna look at other ones because you never know, you know. And I'm glad I did, because oh my gosh, the tech in this 2024 Tucson over a 2019 CRV, masterpiece. I love it. It it's just it's yeah. I can't applaud it enough. So I'm very happy with this car. And tomorrow I go and I get my plates switched over so I can still keep my custom plate with my new car. I've already got my insurance fixed up. I've already called the lien company to set up my account with them. Um, I'm just, like, pat on my back. I've been taking, uh, it's been very stressful for me to make some adulting decisions on my own, because when I started doing these adulting things, I had somebody else there. So it wasn't as scary, you know? But for me to go to a car dealership like all by myself, and it's so easy for like to be a woman and to get taken advantage of, at a car dealership. Um, Especially at my age, because we're all like, ooh, look at the bells and whistles, look at the colors. Oh my gosh, yes, I love it. Like, no, like I did my best on keeping a steady head, and I went in knowing what kind of cars I wanted to look at, knowing my price, knowing, no understanding I'm not walking out of here with a brand new car. I'll walk out with a used car. I have stipulations, I have criteria. I have found some cars that on the outside, on paper meet these criteria, but once I get in and drive it around, is it going to meet the criteria, And I immediately said, "Nope, I don't want a guy. I want a female, because they're going to be able to sympathize and understand my situation. They'll sympathize with me and they'll understand, and they're not going to be dicks about it and try and ooh ah me and sell me on this one thing. They're going to listen to me and they're going to give me what I want, you know?" And that's what she did. So not that I really expect anyone from the Huntsville area to be listening, but Christina over at Schottenkirk Honda in Huntsville was amazing. She was awesome. You know, if you need that motherly touch, that womanly ear who's going to listen to you and actually help you find like something you're actually going to use and need and not just whatever's going to get them the big money sale, go to Christina. She is the bomb. Um and they just they worked with me and I have it under like 3 different warranties that all came with it basically. Like Schottenkirk has their annual warranty or like a 1-year warranty, and it covers a lot. It covers a lot. Um, then the Hyundai, the car itself is still under the Hyundai warranty because it was just a loaner car before me. I think it went through 2 different loaner companies, but it was either 1 or 2, but it was just a loaner car. It was a leased car or something like that before me. And so I have that warranty. And then the company that owns or goes through the federal credit union that I have my lien for, they have a warranty on the car. So I know my dad and I were talking about that, and he's like, I've never heard of a bank having a warranty thing. And I'm like, I can't explain it to you because I understand it, but I don't understand it. But it's through the company. Like, I promise you, I I'm not crazy out there, but I was looking at it and it's like this credit union is owned by a bigger entity, and the bigger entity says, "Hey, while you have a lien through one of my little people down here, we'll give you a warranty because it's in our best interest that you keep this card, you keep it going so you can make payments and stuff." Because if it comes down to making a payment on your car or making a payment to get it fixed, you're probably going to make a payment to get it fixed and then we're not going to get our money, you know? So they have a pretty good warranty as well. Um, and I'm not driving a crazy distance either. You know, like I work from home. Ava's gonna be going to school like about 10 minutes away. I think it's 7 miles, and then because there's another school and there's some lights between my house and her school, like it adds on a little bit extra time because you have to slow down. But I think it's like 7 miles away, you know? I'm not going to Nebraska every other month. You know, we make the trip to meet, and then I plan on making a trip up to Nebraska for the next couple summers. Um, you know, like and then like his family is all right there in Nashville and then just up into Kentucky, just right around the border. So they're all pretty super close. You know, I'm not really going anywhere else, really. So I am excited for this. It's a new, fresh start for me. Though the car is not new, it's new to me, and that's all I care about. Um, gold star for adulting. Oh my gosh, I'm at an hour and a half. Holy crap. I am so sorry, guys. um, but hey, this is all I wanted to talk about was my weekend, and this is what happened this weekend. So, thank you guys for listening. I'll stop yapping, I'll let y'all get back to whatever you were doing. I appreciate everyone. And I'll talk to you later. Bye.